Well, Alex, it's almost here.
What's that?
Pet Sematary.
Oh, God, I'm so scared.
Yeah, I was really excited for this. I've read the book. The book is disturbing as fuck. And I'm hoping that it's kind of closer to the book. The trailer scared me a little bit because it's some changes and they kind of spoiled some shit. But apparently it's good.
Wow. Jackson, sometimes original is better than remake.
Well, so... Okay,
sometimes
that's pretty good, actually. Well, let's get started on that topic, even though that's not, we're reviewing the 1989 Pet Sematary, by the way.
Yeah.
If you haven't told, you couldn't tell by clicking the link that says that.
And we are bored and annoyed.
Right. He's home at the movies. I'm Jackson. Wow, I really botched this whole intro.
We're known for our professionalism.
Yeah, that's true. I'm ruining that. So one pet peeve of mine is everybody, and it's possible we've talked about this. I know we did an episode on adaptations before.
Yes.
But a pet peeve of mine is like when the new It was coming out, for instance. Everybody's like, oh, it'll never be as good as the original.
Yeah.
But it's like the original is the book.
Yeah.
So if the movie and the book have differences, like this is just a new kind of refreshed adaptation of the source material.
Right.
So it's not the same as a remake. You know what I mean?
Well, and there's something to be said about, there's a quaintness to those originals. We can do horror in some aspects much better now.
Right. Yes.
And I feel like a lot of these tend to be given a little bit more respect than they were back in the day. They were kind of done on the cheap before. These are being treated like real movies.
That's true. Although I would say this movie was treated like a real movie.
It really was, casting aside.
Oh, yeah. The main character's pretty bad.
He's not great. I don't know. Do you want to go right into the review?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, he's not great. But I feel like the wife is maybe one of the worst.
Oh, you think so? The Star Trek lady.
Yes. I think she is. She's pretty bad.
They could have given her a lot more to do.
Yes. The
daughter's pretty good for a kid actor.
For a kid actor, pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, the youngest son is boys have a penis and girls have a vagina from Kindergarten Cop.
He was also the little creepy boy in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. He was Heather Langenkamp's son in that. And they actually have an homage in that where he's got like the
surgical.
Well, no. So he's got he's got knives taped to his fingers like Freddy behind his back, just like in this movie. He has the like
surgical
syringe.
Yeah. Oh, he had the syringe and he had the surgical.
You're right.
Surgical knife
he had
too.
like an X-Acto knife or whatever.
Right. You almost feel like this is the inspiration for Chucky. I actually forget the year that Chucky comes out, but you see it and you're like, that's so Chucky. It's crazy.
It is kind of Chucky. Like the way he looks, he's good. Apparently he like wanted to do all the scenes. The little boy did, which is like disturbing, but that's good. It adds
good for him.
His little yeah.
Okay. I guess we should probably say like spoilers for this.
I guess. Yeah.
Quick thoughts on it before we go into spoilers.
It's got like a charm to it, that like 80s charm.
Yeah.
With like the soundtrack and, but it's not great.
No.
And a lot of people think it's great. Like this is a movie that is beloved.
It is. It's very much a product of its time.
Right.
I would
agree.
It's fine. Some of the set design is a bit much. At least as far as the cemetery bit goes, and some of the writing is a little like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But overall, it's fine. Like it's a fine watch. It's
easy to watch. There's never a moment where you're like, oh God, it's a slog to get through this.
And it does help that we just watched Troll 2. So anything is kind of great after that.
There's parts of Troll 2 that are more entertaining.
Oh, that's
a lot of Troll 2.
Oh, you're going to piss off some people with that statement.
Not because it's good.
Right, yeah.
Because it's so bad.
Yeah.
There are a few like nitpick things with the script that like don't make sense to me.
Yes.
Like, okay, you can't show them go on this long like hiking journey to get to the spot to bury the cat.
Yeah.
And then not explain like, oh, he dragged his wife's corpse there. He dragged his son all the way there.
Right. Well,
like maybe that's nitpicky, but it's
right. Well, okay. So I'm going to give it like I'll give it like a C+.
Okay. I'll give it a B-.
Okay. Yeah. My problem is the fact that he's like, let's bury the cat. Oh no, we got to bury it up here. Got to bury it. Well, almost there. They leave at like 4 p.m. They come back and it's dark.
Yeah.
He took him on a fucking journey.
That's the problem. Yeah.
It's so unbelievable. Like, why would you be like, dude, it's a cat?
He
and
just
then he's
trusts
like,
him.
You gotta bury it out here.
Yeah, that's
Trust
true.
me.
And there was a lot more like explanation in the book as to some of that stuff.
I am sure.
And like there's a lot more in the book regarding, and you know, we've talked about this before too, but it's like not having that inner dialogue narration that's in a book makes it really hard to like you have to try and put where Lou Creed's head is at.
Right.
And I don't think that this movie completely succeeds at that. I mean, I get it when I watch it.
It's
like,
it's one of those things that's the very frustrating thing about a horror movie, which is there are so many clear, like, warning signs.
Yes, that's true.
So many. And the fact that he keeps doing it is frustrating by the end of the movie.
Yeah, because they're not hammering home enough like the theme of like losing the thing you love, and if you could get it back, what would you give up? It's almost like he's doing it thinking, okay, it's going to be different this time.
Yes.
But really, what's behind that is like he knows that it's not, and it's just worth the risk to him.
Because he just doesn't want to live without said people in his life, which is a much better way of doing it than just kind of like, it'll be different this time. It'll be... Yeah. She just died. I didn't get Billy in time. Or whatever.
Which I like that logic of like, oh, he's going fucking nuts because now he just like made up this rule that nobody told him. Like, if it's fresh, you're good. I like the idea of that. But at the end of the movie, when they shoehorn that in there, it's just a little bit like, well, why
what?
do you think this? Like, we don't know what you've been thinking this whole time. You're kind of fucking... Also,
and I don't know how it's done in the book, so it's really good that I have you here. But the problem is like he has that dream about that guy.
Yes.
Dude takes him out there, and then it's not a dream. He wakes up with the mud on his feet.
He warns him,
And it's like, okay, the mere fact that you're going in the area in which Ghost Dream, which is not a dream, told you to not go to, that's so unbelievable, especially to bury a cat.
So that did happen in the book. Like he follows that guy out there and he wakes up with like the dirt, whatever. So he knows or he thinks it actually happened. Like he thinks he's going nuts.
Okay.
But he also is like, fuck, was I sleepwalking or whatever, but I don't think that they got that wrong necessarily in the movie. It just comes back to, again, like you don't have you're not in the headspace of the character enough to understand why he would do that.
Yeah.
Why he would,
Well, and then I'm struggling mightily to understand why Mr. Munster
who's the best.
Who's the best? He's the
fucking
best
great
thing about the movie.
Yeah.
He's so good. But I'm struggling why he's like, I took you out here. Now, don't you do this with your dead son.
Yeah.
I exposed you to this really quite terrible thing, but don't you go do it now. It's
I like that scene though when he Lou Creed is kind of sitting there at the kid. Everyone else is in bed. He's just drinking and he's thinking, whatever. And there's the scene when Fred Gwynn walks into the house and sits down and is like, I know it's crossed your mind.
Yeah,
it
is, but it is funny because it's almost like he's like egging him into now don't you do it, wink wink, nudge nudge.
What do you think of the flashback scenes?
They're okay. The one with the wife's sister is sufficiently creepy.
I forget who the guy is that plays his sister.
Oh, it's a guy?
Dude. Yeah.
Okay. Comes out of nowhere. And it fits in with the theme of like death and accepting death, but it's never really dealt with quite in a meaningful way.
I'm hoping there's more Zelda there's more of the sister in this movie that's coming out, because
Yes.
that is like sufficiently creepy shit. And the concept of that whole idea, A Monster Calls was about that, where it's like, you're so miserable, like dealing with the person that is going to die.
Yes.
You have all this baggage in your life, and it's totally understandable that you just want them to die.
Yeah.
And then the juxtaposition of like this other person who you're dealing with dying now is like full life ahead of them. They bring joy to your life, whatever.
Yep.
And it's one of those like Stephen King just weaving this like thematic thread.
Yeah.
And he's so good at that. The story is so good.
And there's some interesting things, and I'm like, man, this is like just a fantastic concept. I like, one of my favorite animes of all time deals with two little boys who lose their mother, and they use like the science / magic of their
I feel
world.
like you've told me about
Yeah,
this.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah,
They try to bring their
yep.
mom back to life, and it's kind of like you can't replace the human soul, blah blah
Right.
blah blah blah. And it's a lot of the same themes. So I was kind of like having flashbacks to that, and it's all great. But there are certain things where I'm like, you could really do something really crazy with this. Like, this is already pretty crazy, but you could go like balls to the walls. Like that woman who kills herself in this. She could be like,
oh yeah,
she could
with
have
the
been
stomach cancer.
Yes.
She drove me nuts with the hey, see,
Yeah. I'm a female version.
Yeah, right. It was. Yeah, she drove me nuts. Like,
But-
everyone's just a hick-ass human
Yes,
being that
yeah.
lives near him.
Yeah, but it would have been really good if she had been like, maybe some sort of like, maybe she was something that was brought back, and that's why there's the stomach cancer, and maybe she's like an abnormality. Maybe she's the secret that the guy across the street has. Like there are things that you could have done with her, like, because she just kills herself, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. And I don't know how it's handled in the book, so I can't speak to that.
I don't know if that's a good idea, though, because it's supposed to be such a like personal story about Louis Creed. Because I mean, the whole thing comes down, and that's one of the weaknesses of the movie is I don't think that actor's very good.
Yeah, he's very bad.
Yeah, he's pretty boring. Like, he's one of those guys where it's like, okay, I don't like. He was in this big movie, and you really can't place him in anything else in your mind. Like, where have you seen this guy before? And it's like, oh, I get it.
I love, there's a bit in it where like, it's like one of the first thing, like, oh man, they really hammered that truck stuff home too. Like so much.
Yeah.
But they first show up and the little girl's like, we finally made it. And he goes, yeah.
Finally here.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest yeah. Like
It doesn't fit.
It just doesn't
Yeah.
fit. I mean,
There's a lot of that. What did you think of the flashbacks of Fred Gwynn's character, the neighbor, with like the guy who, hey, I'm going to tell you now. I know I told you that nobody ever buried a person up there. But
I lied.
yeah.
I lied to you. Yeah, that was. I mean, that was all right. I mean, the thing is like I kind of like this. What I love about Stephen King, but he kind of creates like a world for like every book that he writes.
Sure. Yeah.
and there's
completely.
and there's like a nice history there, and I like that. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. It's just one of those things where I'm like, it probably works better in the book because this guy is just he's such a bad, like, he's like the traditional character from like Cabin in the Woods who's like, now don't you go up there.
Yeah.
The ghost's up there. Like, it's just, why is he doing all of this? He seems malicious and malevolent by doing like, yeah, so I lied to you.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, the big thing he does that fucks everything up is even doing the cat thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have enough in this movie as far as like a connection, or like it doesn't seem like they've been friends long enough for him to like even do that.
I kind of felt like that was sort of my issue, was like the first act kind of needed to be fleshed out a little bit more and stop going for like the creepy, like, make us feel like maybe we're a little bit more at home here. Like, build the bond between the neighbor and the kid.
Because that is the book. Like the book is like, I would imagine a lot of people think it's pretty slow because a lot of it is the setup of those two as like neighbors and Louis going over there and having beers all the time. And, whatever.
Because you can't buy it if you don't buy their connection. And I think that's why ultimately it's a great idea, but it's not a great film.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I can see why it's beloved just because, I mean, it's like I don't know, the evil cat. I like the cat.
You got to put yourself in the mind space of the time too,
It's
and there's
true.
really nothing like that at the time.
And creepy kids, and it does have a really creepy kid.
Yeah.
Now he's not featured as much as one would think from, like, I feel like when people think about this movie and they haven't seen it in a while, they give like the creepy, you know, reborn Gage, like they imagine that he's like this malevolent force throughout the movie, but he's really not. He's only there at the end.
Yeah, last 30 minutes or less, actually.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we've kind of talked about a lot of the actors, but we haven't talked about, like, there's a star-turning role in this for the priest. I don't know who that guy is, but he's a real up-and-comer.
He's good, isn't he?
That's Stephen King, for anybody who hasn't seen it.
He comes in and completely breaks your immersion in the film and go, oh, it's Stephen King.
Yeah.
Oh, this must be a made-for-TV movie.
It came in and I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, why did they do that? And I will tell you right now, by the way, lady director on this, so they did break new ground. Everybody's talking about lady directors getting all these props these days and superhero movies and whatever.
Yeah.
But this lady, I don't remember her name.
But she directed the hell out of this.
But she directed this, and it doesn't. It's a slick looking movie. Like there's nothing. It's not. It doesn't feel cookie cutter to me.
I liked the shots when they were going in the woods. I was like, oh, this is like a real movie, you know?
Yep, I would agree. Yeah, it's totally a real movie. Like you can tell they did care about this movie. This wasn't just like a cash grab. Which that's my concern with the new one. Is that it's just kind of a cash grab. That director, by the way, is Mary Lambert, just in case anybody wants to know.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that. I was like, oh, Adam Lambert's grandma.
She also,
I'm just kidding.
Her highest rated movies are Pet Sematary at 50% on Rotten Tomatoes and Urban Legends Bloody Mary at 40%.
Well,
so yeah, she broke new ground.
Shooting for the stars.
But
hey, you did an okay job, Mary.
She did direct some Arrow in 2012.
Did she really?
Yes. And The Blacklist.
2012. So probably back when Arrow was actually like a pretty good show.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
She broke new ground with Arrow.
New ground,
she was directing superheroes before Patty Jenkins.
It's true.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about that.
Yeah, right. Hey, good trivia for your friends.
Yeah. First female superhero director.
I think my biggest problem as far as like the movie being too, of its time is the ghost guy, though, because it's not scary to me.
No.
It's kind of creepy when he dies. That scene where he's like,
I'll be seeing you.
The blood, like the makeup's pretty good on the head and shit.
Yeah.
But once he dies, it's like, it feels like a Dr. Scrooge or a Mr. Scrooge type thing where and there's like the scenes where you don't really understand the rules because he's visiting the girl while she sleeps. He's visiting Lou like whenever, and Lou can see him. And then the wife like
drives the truck.
Yeah, well, he's in the passenger seat, right?
Is he? I thought see,
he's not driving the truck. He's in the truck.
Is he?
But he's like somehow
I thought he became the driver. Like, because he shows up and it's a regular driver. And then I thought he was in the driver's seat as she leaves.
No, I think he's like in the middle seat and she's sitting next to him. But the point is, like, he's coaxing her somehow. But does she hear him at all? Or does she kind of like not realize she hears him?
She doesn't have The Shining.
Yeah, apparently not. That's what they need. Is they need the movie with the black dude from The Shining and Fred Gwynn from this. It's like a team up movie,
buddy cop movie.
Somebody write that, please.
I liked. So my thought as watching it was, so the guy shows up and he's like, "I'll be seeing you," and I was like, oh, is there like a malevolent force that is behind the Pet Sematary? And I was like, oh, it's going to be like a demon thing or whatever, which I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's not going in the exact direction I thought it was.
It's the Micmac burial ground.
Yeah. That ground is sour. Sour like the milk in my
That's some of the
fridge.
best stuff, though.
Oh,
like,
man.
Like, that was another thing. They don't get into the lore of, like, the Micmac burial ground. Whatever. Yeah. They just kind of say, oh, the ground's sour, and it was used. They do say something. They say, what did he brings them up there, and they've got the whole, like, this is where they honor the dead.
You
know, but
yeah, Native Americans knew to stop using it. It's like, then why didn't you? Like that's where, like we said, it probably falters way more than the book, because they built the relationship. They built why this neighbor would actually care that this little girl lost her cat. Even though I still think the fact that you went through that with your own dog, it's like you probably wouldn't want anybody to go through that ever again.
That's
in my opinion. So, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's creepy. It's sufficiently creepy.
Yeah.
The creepiest thing is, I think, the sister. When she shows up in that room and she's huddled in the corner and then she comes at you, you're like, I actually got chills. I was like, ooh, that's pretty good.
Well, and you know, in the trailer for the new one, there's a scene where you can see this like something crawling on the ground and the bones are all sticking out and shit. I'm assuming that's her.
You would hope so.
So yeah, they're going to turn it into one of those like weird crawly, you know, which is kind of worrisome to me. Like the Ring or the Possession of Hannah Grace type character, like design things.
Yeah, or Suspiria, which was still the greatest version of that.
Oh, well, they didn't do like they just did like, oh, she's fucking breaking in
so nuts. That was so nuts. It's one of those things that you'll never forget.
It was good. And then she pisses herself on top of it.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oof. But no, now we're talking about the new one now. So what is your hope for this? Like, you know, after watching the original, like, where do you think they'll improve? What are you worried about?
They'll definitely improve on the first act. They'll definitely improve sort of on the, you know, the believability of the neighbor intervening.
Yep. Okay.
I think they'll probably find a little bit more of a believable reason why he goes up there. I think they'll probably do a better job with the ghost guy also. I think that just all
the ghost guy, I think that's going to be where it'll be interesting. Like, how do they handle that?
Right. Yeah, because that is I think it works probably great in a novel, but in a movie, it does become a little Ghost of Christmas Pasty kind of thing.
One thing I noticed from the trailers that I'm getting the impression of is that the kid like comes back home and lives with the parents for a while. And
that could be interesting.
Yes.
I think that's more interesting than kid just comes back and starts
kills
killing
everybody.
People. Yeah.
Right. Because there's like the scene in the trailer where you hug your daughter.
Yeah.
You know, like that sounds creepy and awesome.
Yes.
You know, because she's probably like, what the fuck? Like, the latest trailer, they just dropped the final trailer yesterday. He's like washing her hair in the bathtub and shit. Like, all that sounds fucking creepy. But I mean, I guess that's the big change.
Yeah.
It's not the little kid anymore. It's the daughter now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
which raises, if you can have the little kid, if you can have Gage not leave, if you can not have him be at the grandparents' house, that could be kind of interesting, because now you've got a child in danger.
You know, that's a good question. Is the whole grandparents thing going to be a factor in this?
I feel like that was wasted screen time in this movie too, because it's hardly. It's not even important.
I mean, I like the scene when he punches him in the face.
Yeah, but
like, I like that idea, but you're right. It is kind of just like a one note thing. They kind of they take care of it so quickly.
Yeah.
It's not like this overarching thing on the plot. I mean, I guess the only time when it becomes a factor in the climax is when they call the house.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I don't know. God, I don't know about the little kid daughter switch. I mean, I get it. They kind of said they wanted more of a character out of the undead person in the movie. So I could see that. That makes sense. But it's also like, part of me is just like, God, it's so creepy if it's a 2-year-old. The younger you are, the more innocent you are.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
The only thing that and we're kind of doing a role reversal here, because I was kind of saying the exact same thing, and now I'm kind of falling in love with the idea of this little girl doing it, because you have a certain amount. It's always going to be tragic because it's not the kid. True. But there's a huge amount of tragedy when you actually learn this kid's personality. Okay. And all of a sudden they start acting differently. That's going to be very tragic to see, because you're going to see it before he does.
Well, that's what's so fucking fantastic about the book and the story, is that, like, I I don't think the cat's importance in the old movie is played up enough either, because that's the symbol of that's the foreshadowing of what's going to happen. You know, like the cat comes back and it's like a mean cat, but like there's a whole thing in the book where he's just talking about, and they mention it smelling. Yeah. But like he goes into just how like eerie and fucking, you know, like it's just this.
They don't really play it up enough in that old one. And also I
this
felt
cat
like
kicks ass in this new one.
I hope it does too. There was one thing that bothered me a little bit, which was the cat, like the first time, like not the first time we see the cat, but the second time when it shows up and it has the jump scare coming out of the tree.
Okay.
You're like, it just hisses at like him, at the dad, and it jumps down to hiss at him. And it's like, well, you're already a dick.
No, that's a good point.
So it would be nice if he was really friendly.
A sweet cat. Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's an absolute monster.
Yeah. You know what else is funny in this is like this, like nobody noticed this back then, but like you're bringing the cat carrier out and the cat's like, wow. And it's like the cat did not move its fucking mouth at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It just...
different time, different expectations.
It didn't matter. It's just what it was like.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I am hopeful. I think this is going to be good. Seeing it Friday night, I'm excited as fuck. I hope it doesn't let me down. I'm happy John Lithgow is in it. And that's going to be another big boost to this, is I really like Jason Clarke. Yeah. So you know he's going to give a better performance than the lead in the original one.
That's not even not even a contest. Yeah. You're still hopeful on my part that it's going to lead to some sort of Stephen King
shared universe.
I want it so fucking bad.
It's going to happen someday.
I just want it. I hope.
I guess the problem though is all the properties are probably all divvied up among so many different studios and shit that it would be.
It's the Marvel situation. And we're just going to have to wait for one giant conglomerate to buy all of them.
Disney needs to buy all of the Stephen King shit.
Hey, if it means that I get...
Disney presents the Stephen King shared universe.
Hey, if it means that I get a Stephen King shared universe.
Okay, well, hey, we're on this topic.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up with the expectations for the new one, but let's go with this. Dark Tower on Amazon.
Yeah.
How is that going to handle it? Because all this shit pops up in that series.
Well, okay. That's interesting because I wonder if there's like, I know that sometimes like what they did with like superheroes was sometimes one studio would own the movie rights.
Okay.
And another would own the TV rights. It's why It's why Marvel was able to make cartoons off of Spider-Man, even though Sony owned Spider-Man for movies. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the, the asterisk there. I hope that it's one of those things where we get like a Marvel and Sony kind of thing where maybe Jason Clarke shows up in the show.
Ooh.
Yeah. And maybe it shows up in the show. God, I want awesome. It. I want it so fucking bad.
Or maybe Amazon's just like, hey, we sell all the books on our website.
Yeah, we own them
we
all.
We get to use just the rest of the night we should just talk, we own the books.
Steve Bezos. Let me tell you. Yeah. But I think that's the end of the episode, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. That's it. Enjoy Pet Sematary this weekend, everyone. Find us at boredandanoid.com and then go from there. Follow the social links. You know, the whole kit and caboodle. So
give us an all like and share.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.